This session is supporting the young child in bullying behavior. Two things I need to remind you of is please make sure you signed in on the sheet outside so you can get credit for attending. And please also make sure that the green evaluation sheets you complete and hand back to the ladies outside before you leave. Presenting today is Dr. Yunus. She's an associate professor of early childhood education. Her research primarily focuses on early education and care of minority children and families. Along with her is Ms. Geena Anselmo. She is a senior majoring in elementary special education with dual certification in early childhood education, and she has conducted 2 undergraduate research studies under the supervision of Dr. Yunus. Please welcome them today.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for coming. As my name is Geena. I'm a student researcher here, and Dr. Yunus. Today we're going to be talking about supporting the young child in bullying behavior. Usually when we think about bullying, we think primarily in the middle school, early high school, but sometimes this is happening in earlier grades, and we kind of want to get to the bottom of why this is happening and what we can do as teachers to prevent and to help this behavior.
When we're talking about the bullying for young children, usually in terms of research studies and reports or results from the studies, for young children, usually bullying, we say, a form or repeated, persistent and aggressive behavior directed at individuals or group that is intended to cause a fear, distress, and harm to another person's body or feelings or self-esteem or reputation or interaction, or the way that young children usually, interact with each other in the classroom. Sometimes it could also, some people perceive that kind of interaction or bullying behaviors as a perceived power imbalance. So some children in the classroom try to be a leader, try to, manipulate some of the situations, some of the activities in the classroom. That also could be considered as a bullying to some of the researchers.
So when we think about bullying, it's just that how to decipher kind of kids being kids, or are they bullying? Are they doing this on purpose? The difference is that it's repetitive and that it's intended to cause some sort of hurt or to get something. There's 4 different types of bullying. We're primarily going to focus on more kind of the physical, verbal, social in the early childhood because there's not too much of the cyberbullying going on. In early childhood, yes, it is one of them. Physical bullying, we're talking about hitting, pushing, scratching. We talk about verbal bullying. This could be name calling, picking on kids, and usually it's because that other maybe a little bit different. Maybe there's something about them that the other one doesn't like and you're picking at them. Social, and this could be even social, even early childhood play groups at play centers. I don't want him to play with me, don't touch my toys. But if this is happening over and over and over, then you see it's occurring as a problem and want to do something. And then cyberbullying. And this, I know there's some sessions on this today, talking about bullying through text messages and social networks, which is going to be a problem in the older grades. Just some statistics, over at least 70% of children in school report being bullied at some point. So some form of bullying they report at some point in their lives through the whole academic career, which is pretty standard. I think maybe all of us can even relate a little bit that at some point there was that one person that maybe made you feel a little bit bad about yourself. And we want to make sure that our kids aren't feeling this way. So we have a video here. Our sounds are linked to the 2 rooms. So we're going to have audio coming from the laptop and our video up here, so bear with me a little bit here. It's a news report from Orlando. This is a great resource if you've ever heard. It's called safeshare.tv. And if you're ever putting videos in your classroom, you can create a safe link so that after the video is over, your students don't see all of those extra videos around it, or your students don't see those videos that pop up afterwards. That can be quite distracting. So safeshare.tv. And everyone here, in the back, okay.
Everywhere, but what about baby bullying?
It's more common than you think. So how do you know if your little one has a behavioral problem or just terrible twos? Just get you join us here with us. Talk about this. I got 2 little ones at home. Like I said, I've seen them before.
You have seen it. And the thing is, even if you don't think your child's bullied, you still want to put a stop to that kind of aggressive behavior early on. And, experts are saying that this trouble is showing up earlier with so many children in daycare. Some kids are being exposed to bullies as babies. It may make for a funny YouTube moment or memorable home video. This time, childhood aggression turned from silly to serious.
When it's happening excessively and they're trying to control someone who's weaker usually, and they're yelling and screaming at them, and they're pushing them down, they're taking things from them and not giving it back.
Jim West, a licensed mental health counselor in Metro West, says he's seen more and more preschool-age children exposed to bullying. He believes financial stress in the home is causing more children to act out in daycare.
The parents are distracted by the financial stress at home, then they may not be watching how their child is acting or how their child is playing with others.
Experts say there are signs of a preschool bully, such as the child smiles during fights with other kids, acts sneaky or secretive because they know what they're doing is wrong, and constantly picks on smaller children. After the terrible twos, children are generally old enough to know better, but because they're constantly testing their limits, they need to also be taught better. Don't just write it off, as kids will be kids.
Paying attention to them, giving them quality time, observing them in play.
Now, bullying behavior is not corrected. It can have consequences for bullies, too. Other kids will start to avoid them. They'll start to see themselves as the victim because they won't really have any friends, and it does lead to relationship problems throughout their life.
Yeah, I was just saying, I had an issue last night. We have 2 little ones, and the littlest one is not happy with the older one taking stuff. So she took the train and bashed him in the head.
Oh,
And that's all I wanted. Just did it again.
physical consequences as well.
I kind of laughed. I know that's not good. I laughed. Then I reprimanded, but I didn't laugh.
I want you to kind of keep that part in mind. I'd like to have a little discussion about this video. I found a couple of points pretty interesting. The first one, Jim West, who was the counselor from the video, he talked about what he perceived to believe that the main cause was financial stress in the home of why these children were acting out. And I'd like to know what you think. Do you think that financial stress is the main cause? Do you think it's one of the causes? Do you agree with him? Anybody to share?
I see some head shaking.
Yes.
No, I don't agree. I think there's probably multiple reasons besides the economic. I'm sure economic is a big one.
Right.
But inconsistent parenting, not giving consistent parenting cues and letting them know what's appropriateness, and I think it plays a big role as well,
Yes.
along with other things.
Very true. Thank you for sharing. It's definitely true that inconsistency, because we don't want to look at some of these videos, think of it as a newscast, that we don't want parents viewing this or other teachers viewing this think that financial stress is the one major cause, because there's many factors for the reasons of bullying. Yes.
Yeah, because when I see that, he may be sugarcoating it, but all I get out of that is that he thinks poor kids are the ones that bully. And that's not the case.
Right.
That is not the case at all.
I agree. That's a very important point, because regardless of socioeconomic status, there could be any other reason that the students are being bullied or getting bullied. There's so many underlying causes that we want to look for and not focus on one. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have any comments? Yes.
When parents are working to provide for their family, their children are left in a long time at daycare centers, and they're not getting the individualized care that they need when they're in a giant daycare center, no matter how good the daycare is. The little kids need one-on-one time.
That's a very good point. And that goes back to how important it is working with families at this early age. We're going to talk more a little bit about that later. That's one of the main one of the things that we have to remember, that when we're working with these little ones, that their families, it's important to have this close relationship with their families and collaborating with them and being positive of how we can help their child and the reasons this is happening. Because sometimes if they are left alone at home, it could be one of the reasons, and because they do need that consistency and that love and care. We talked a little bit about this. What do you believe, what could be some other reasons of this, that this bullying behavior is occurring? Next to the financial that we talked about a little bit, or parents maybe not being home, or the inconsistency, is there any other things that you can maybe think of or that you've seen in your classrooms or practicums? Yes.
Well, sometimes the parent is a bully, and they model that behavior for them. Or other times, the parent thinks it's cute or funny, and we all laugh at them. I mean, they're so cute at that age, right? And we forget that by laughing and not giving them direction along with that, then that's pretty much condoning their behavior.
Right.
Even though we mean well.
Yes.
All parents mean well, but I find that happens a lot.
Yes, that's very true. Children learn so much from what they see and hear, whether it's modeling by parents, teachers, older siblings, or other students in the classroom or in the school. They learn so much from what they see, and that positive role model is very important, that consistency again. That kind of goes in, at the end, the news anchor, one of the men, he was talking about his children at home, and he hit him on the head with a train, and they were kind of laughing about it and making a joke about it. So I want you to kind of reflect on, do you think bullying behavior at this age is taken seriously? Do you think, because after they had the serious segment on bullying, and then they're kind of laughing about it. Like you said, sometimes parents laugh and make a joke and think, oh, it's just funny. But if this continues and continues, we want to help stop this when they're little so we can prevent it and when they're older. Do you think it's taken serious enough, and should it be taken more seriously? Any comments or reflection?
I know I could try to hear your voice or just voice.
Right.
Because that's not the case. It's
Very
not.
nice.
And if they're nice and sweet, it doesn't mean they're gay. You know, I mean that's the distinction. They're either tough because they live in a little, country farming community, and they're either rough and tough and hunting and blah, blah, or they're, and if they're nice, then they get labeled. So
Very
it's
true. It's unfortunate that we're so quick to place these labels on students. Studying special education, and I often see this too, that think, oh, just because this child is acting out and running around, they must have ADD, they must have ADHD, which is really not always the case. And sometimes we're over-labeling or over-generalizing. We're not looking at the individual student and all of the possible reasons that this could be occurring. So some warning signs that a child is being bullied. I'm going to hand out for you at the end to kind of go over these things. But signs of abuse is something we especially want to look for with the little ones. Bruises, scratches, and changes in normal patterns of behavior can also come with this. Maybe if they're not playing with the same things they used to, or they're not interested in the same activities or playing with their friends, or not involved as much as they usually are in the classroom. Something that's a little bit different, because as teachers in the classroom, we're with them every day, and you start to know your students. And even if something's just a little bit off, we want to express our concerns and really investigate why this is occurring. And changes in peer relationships is another important one. I have another video to share with you. Hopefully we can get this one, the sound together. This is a little boy, and his mom's actually filming him. And he got bullied in school, and he's faking sick because he doesn't want to go to school. It kind of breaks my heart, but he's 4 years old here.
One day now, you're not sick anymore.
Aisha.
I'm scared. Why, baby? Because I'm sick. You're not sick anymore. I'm not. Why are you scared? Because the people let me play. Who doesn't let you play? Yeah. What does she do? Say, oh dear, I don't want you here. Really? Yeah, don't get you. Oh, that's sad. That's terrible. That's bullying. That's bullying? And what do you do about it when she talks like that to you? I went up in a house. Oh, you went to somewhere else to play? No, I was going to a house. So you didn't tell your teacher? Why? About what Leanne said to you? You told them? No. No? Did they hear her talking like that? Yeah. And how old are you now? 4. Okay. What grade are you in? What school do you go to? High school. No. Preschool. Exactly. Good job. So, but you have to go back to school on Monday, okay? Tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Sunday. That's good job. It's Christmas tomorrow. It's not Christmas yet. That'll be in December. 25th. So you happy you went back to school? How do you feel when your friend talks to you like that? Mad or sad? Sad. Oh. So hopefully she won't act like that with you anymore, okay? But I want you to be happy and go back to school, okay? School is fun. You have your friends there. And if someone talks to you like that, you have to tell your teacher. That's being mean. We don't want to be mean to our friends, right? So you want to go back to school one day? Oh, you'll be fine. That's okay.
Toys crash into mine. I catch them and get them.
Yeah, that's fine. Hold down, you pick it back up. You pick it back up. That's a great idea. So get ready to go back to school Monday, okay?
Not tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, Sunday.
Do I have my toys out here?
Sometimes if you notice also children that appears to look just a little bit different, also sometimes have some kind of little bit experience being bullied. Or just like Geena mentioned earlier on, if some of the children at this stage is early enough, they show some kind of special needs, that also, or some of them like physically look different, they just have some kind of little bit experience with bullying. Right.
So little Elijah here that we just met, he's scared to go back to school. He's 4 years old, he's in preschool, and he's crying, and you see at the beginning he's kind of taking a cough at 4 years old in preschool. And it's just something that really just broke my heart, because we don't want our little ones to have a negative perception of school at such a young age. At such a young age, he already doesn't want to go to school, and he said he didn't tell his teacher, and he said, I'm going to catch them and get them and take them in the police car. And a lot of times when we see bullying in middle school and high school, a lot of research says that the students that are bullies at that age were bullied when they were younger. And I hear Elijah's telling, yes?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. Do you have a comment to add?
Well, do you think teachers and parents at that age, if they had a child saying those things, would truly believe it was bullying, or would they think it's just a child's imagination? Or I didn't see it, the teacher didn't see it, so, he's just being really creative.
Right.
Do you think they really understand that this could be actually happening or not?
Right. And that's a good point, because a lot of times that does happen. The teacher doesn't see it, and the parent's not sure, is my child just saying this? Is this intention? Are they kind of overgeneralizing, thinking that this was a bigger deal when it was just some little confrontation that happened in school? But it's a very good point, because I think that sometimes it's not taken as seriously, again, in these instances. But this, I think hopefully was taken more seriously. Hopefully there was some communication with the parent and teacher, because this is something that was happening over and over. The kids at school are doing this to me. And he was really specific about what they were doing, which I think makes it more believable even. They were pushing my trucks, and he gave a name of a student that was doing this to him. And I think when those specific things are occurring, I think that's when the student's 4 years old, he's identifying certain instances and what he wants to do about it. that's what I think that we need to intervene, yes.
Do you think some of that is the reason we have preschool though, is because if they come from houses where they're single child or something, they have no idea how to interact with other people, and so anytime somebody touches their toys, they're gonna get, that's mine, and nobody's supposed to have it, and you can see them get very touchy about that sort of thing. So that's why at that age in a preschool, I don't even know that I would really notice it or think of it as bullying as much as social adjustment.
Right, and I'm really
To
glad
learn how to get along with each other, because that's why it exists.
Yes, and I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because we are going to actually touch on that, because confrontation at this age with young ones and disagreements, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. That's how they learn. That's how they figure out these social cues from other ones and from parents and teachers, and they figure out kind of how to act appropriately and how to follow the rules. That's why it's important for teachers, for us teachers to set those guidelines and to enforce those rules and be consistent, support the children. Because these confrontations are going to happen, and it's our goal to teach them how to appropriately resolve these conflicts and interact with other students.
Many researchers agree that how you differentiate with behavior problem in the classroom and bullying, part of it because bullying is behavior that happen continuously and by specific or like one individual or just a small group of children. If like a behavior problem class in a classroom, usually when the teacher intervene and try to solve the problem, the behavior classroom management system usually work well in the preschool classroom. If the behaviors are continuously and it's just become more aggressive and become an issue, till like the children or one child that you see that behavior become a this kind of like a big issue in the classroom, like not really interact with other children, being quiet, or just withdraw or didn't coming to school at all. So that's become an issue of bullying rather than behavior or social interaction issues.
So a few steps for teachers. The first one, we mentioned a little bit, just to establish those positive relationships with families, and that's really where it starts working with these little ones. Being proactive, trying to resolve these conflicts before they happen. When we see these things happening, little instances, and like Dr. Yunus mentioned, it's happening repetitively and over and over. Maybe it's every day, or maybe it's 5 months into the school year and the student still isn't adjusting. And then maybe we need to look, maybe it's a bigger issue there. Because we always want to make sure all of our students feel safe and welcome in the classroom. Helping families understand to deal with normal conflict. Just kind of those normal interactions that children are going to have. They're going to have disagreements. There's going to be problems with sharing those social skills that students are learning at this age, because they are still so young. And the third one, bully-proofing each child. This is really for the whole classroom, because we want to help children model those feelings. Like we saw the parent of Elijah, his mother was saying, how did that make you feel? Did that make you feel mad or sad? We want to help label their emotions so they understand why they're feeling this way, and how to properly display those emotions and model that for them. And also important, just to keep data and keep a record of all these instances that are happening, the time, the date, the names, the circumstances, and to look for patterns. After we collect this data, if something happens, to really look for patterns to see, is this just the students just adjusting to the classroom, or is this something maybe socially that there's a certain skill that we need to work on with that child. This is a preschool teacher. She's going to talk about itty-bitty bullies, and she gives some strategies for dealing with students that are displaying this aggressive behavior.
Bullies, toddlers, pinch, infants, for actually might get their way. Now, toddlers tend to hit, bite, those sorts of things to express their emotions and also sometimes test limits. And there are 4 things that you can do to deal with children who are aggressive in this way.
itty bitty bullies, and I kind of like how she puts that phrase together, itty bitty bullies. What she talks about is some strategies for dealing with aggressive behavior. The first one she talked about was removing the child from the situation. And this is going to be different. Some of the tips she gave, it may not work in every classroom and it may not work for every student because every classroom and child is different. Same thing, every teacher is different when it's a classroom different. But first, removing the child from the situation and making sure they know that the behavior is inappropriate. And pretty much everything we're talking about today just goes back to we focus so much on learning their letters and are they identifying colors and shapes, and sometimes we forget about the importance of just developing those social skills in the classroom and how they display their emotions and how they regulate their own behavior. Because that's, I believe, just as important as teaching these academics. We're pushing so far back, so they're doing so much in a younger grade. We don't want to forget about those other really important things that makes them who they are and is going to affect them for the rest of their life. Redirecting the child and children, that's a strategy that I think all teachers use almost for everything, especially in early childhood, just that redirection from the situation. Empathizing with the child, naming emotions, just like Elijah's mom was doing. Just how it makes the child feel angry, frustrated, sad, mad, hurt. So they kind of know what those emotions mean and why they're feeling. And then lastly, she said the most important, creating that environment of prevention, having those classroom rules and expectations, and creating an environment where the student feels welcome, feels like they can come to the teacher for support, or feels like they're comfortable in the classroom, and it's not they're not going to feel like they don't have anyone to turn to. What teachers can do on our handout that we're going to pass out, we have this list on here. There's a lot of things that teachers can do, and I want to get a little bit of interaction from you of maybe things that you do in your classroom or things that you've seen done to help prevent this bullying. This list here is obviously not comprehensive of everything that teachers can do because there's a lot of different strategies out there. But most importantly, just being on the lookout for these things, keeping data, this is happening over and over, making our students feel safe and setting those expectations from the beginning. Is there anything we can share about strategies that you use or that you've seen to be effective in classrooms or working with students? I have some good tips around here. Yes.
We use a lot of read-alouds. I'm a first grade teacher.
Oh, really? Where at?
At Carl Sandburg
Oh,
in
okay.
Charleston. We have quite an extensive library choice in our media center, and you can really get kids to open up and do a lot of good discussion if it's not about a certain situation that happened with them, but they can talk about, oh, I saw that happen one time or something. They seem to open up more.
Yes, I love that strategy. The use of children's literature can be so influential in a classroom to start these conversations with students, and then you're not picking out certain situations. They can kind of reflect on what's happening with those characters in the book, and they can kind of take a step outside and see, how was this character feeling? How do you think they felt? What would you have done in this situation? Really asking those questions to students through read aloud. So thank you, that's a great strategy. There's a lot of great literature out there about bullying situations portrayed in your books. Anything else that you've seen or that you use? Well, I appreciate everyone sharing today. A lot of knowledge in the room. So now just kind of a question and answer at the end. Great quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. So no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. It's kind of one of my favorite ones. But right now, just if you have any questions, comments to provide, that is anything else to add. I know we have a handout for you as well.
For those of you interested in handouts, I have some. Should I give out or just leave it on the table?
We can pass them out and put them on the table.
Any questions? Any questions?
So I hope that today you kind of learned something or kind of even reflect a little bit on the importance of, at this young age, teaching those social skills.
think there's a lot of focus on, the teaching aspect and the, classroom, but, how about the role of the parents at home?
That's a very important one. I know we didn't talk too specific about that. It's such an important part of it. The parents modeling at home. A lot of times students will come to the classroom and they're saying words that, they didn't come up with on their own. And they're saying these to students, and maybe it's because they're hearing it from the parents. That's why it's important to collaborate with the families, to be positive, instead of going to the family and saying, your child's doing this, your child's doing this, your child's doing this. Starting with those strengths to start that conversation. The child's doing really well in this area and has these good friends. But sometimes when they're in a place where they're playing blocks, isn't really sharing with the other ones, or isn't interacting with the other boys, or something along those lines to start those conversations. Because it really is a team effort, I believe at least.
I feel like sometimes the parents themselves need more educational bullying than.
And maybe they do, and maybe there's a need for that, maybe a workshop even for parents to work with that. Something more than just a handout for parents that they're not going to read, or those conferences with parents showing how much we care and that we want to help give them some interest. Yes.
Community social, emotional, for kindergarten is called Second Step. And it has a handout that goes to the parents after you talk to the students. And I always copy that and slip that in a folder if we talk about helping how their child can help at home. Whether or not they read it, they might read it more than come to a workshop if it comes straight to their house. But maybe.
It's true, it's tough too, because sometimes we get a lot of, maybe half of the families are reading these notes and participating. And then maybe we don't get as much parent participation from some that we hope to get them participating. And maybe that's when we need to kind of reach out, that extra step, that extra phone call. You said second step that was called?
I also agree that home environment or culture, the values that the parents have at home, sometimes, but not always, could be a little bit conflict, could be contradict what the school have, depending on the culture. I'm referring to myself because I could be biased. If you have like new parents or parents that come from different culture, I know in this area you don't have much that kind of, environment. I think the teacher should be a little bit more sensitive. I think, in my opinion, we parents try to follow what school have, but sometimes it takes a while for us to understand and to be able to translate those rules and policies and whatever it is in school to our children. So if the teacher could have just a little bit more space and time to give us work at home first, and at the same time give the children transition to school from their peers, from the things happen in the cafeteria or while they're in the bus or whatever. So that part, that time zone is so critical for the teachers. Just have a little bit more time, push yourself a little bit. I need to, pay attention to Johnny because he just not getting what we're doing in the classroom. He just take things around and just grab and just not sit still and all that. And I remember about my son, our culture is just a bit different from school. And almost like every other day, I get notes from the teacher to the point that, okay, I think I need to go to school and explain why all this happened in school. What we're doing at home and what we're doing in school is just like day and night. So, and plus, my son, and usually research on bullying talking about boys are more or just a little bit more either being bullied or they are the bully. So I step in and explain to the teacher, probably try this strategy with my son. And not all effective, not all solve the problem, but at the same time, I try to go to school and explain, what are you doing in school? So that I can bridge what you're doing in school, the practice in school, at home, and try to create that kind of like a school environment in my home, so that my son get the idea, and he's in kindergarten. And we don't have formal kindergarten or preschool in my country, in some of the Asian countries. So it's just like you guys, just especially throughout the spring semester, things are getting a bit more formal because you prepare the children to first grade or kindergarten or whatever. So we're not. So we'll just play, and he didn't get it. At school, play and, read book and all that. It's just the culture of Asian culture. We're not so much in book, sort of, and he's just not interested in book. Like teachers are teaching, reading books like more than 2 times or 3 times a day in big group, in small group or whatever. We don't. We just numbers and just, I don't get it. I don't want to read book. This is boring. So yeah, boring, and this is not interesting. And at the end, it's like, I don't want to go to school. That's a big issue. I don't think it's so much of bullying, but it just like all come together. And he feels like, I've been bullied by my teacher because she's not understand. I don't want to read book. I don't want to do this. And a lot of, computers and everything at home. So at school, it's just like he have a very limited time to do that on his own. So that kind of thing, the home school connection environment, I think the teacher need to just a little bit sensitive and pay attention a little bit, work out on plans how to, address some of the issue if you have this situation in your classroom. Just sharing. It just comes from a different home background, home values. The emphasis is just a little bit different. So it's a conflict there. So I don't know the culture. Probably some of the parents, some of the home environment just a little bit different from the middle class or school values. Just a little bit sensitive, nurturing and caring. I think that could help a little bit with others variables or other factors that involve in the very, very young children's behaviors or tend to be a bullying or being bullied. All right. Geena, you want to conclude and say thank you to the
Yes, thank you so much for coming. I hope you walk away with some good strategies. I really appreciate everyone coming and sharing your thoughts today. So
thank
hope
you
enjoy
very
the
much
rest
for
of the
coming.